Hi everyone. So I've gotten quite a number of requests on writing your essays for grad school, and people asking me if I could review, and I have said I do not have time. Now with the overwhelming request, I've created a link that if you want me to review, you will have to pay for it. It's going to come at a cost because I don't want to waste my time, but I really am praying that people do not send me any requests right now because I have less than 2 months to graduate, so I am super busy. However, I thought to actually do a video that literally summarizes or help as many people as possible to understand what these essays are and how to approach them. Now, when you're applying for grad school in the United States, there are literally most times 3 essays they'll request from you. Some schools request just 1 out of the 3. Some request 2 out of the 3. Some request the 3 but make 1 optional. In Berkeley, they request 3. The 3 main essays are the statement of purpose, the personal statement, and the diversity statement. Now, I want to quickly share with you what these 3 essays are about and how you can focus on them. These 3 essays, in as much as they are very different, they are quite tied or linked to each other. And it is very important that you kind of find a link to them or you get it right if you want to get admitted. So, if this is a challenge for you, please stay tuned. It's going to be a very detailed video that I think after this you will not need my help or anybody's help. You should get it right. But please, a disclaimer, whatever I'm sharing with you does not guarantee that you get to admission or your area of concentration. There are so many other factors that are used to determine an admission or get you admitted. So sometimes they have very beautiful applications, from what I've heard, that they have to turn down. And I am not an admission officer, but I've kind of gotten every application I put in for, except maybe some fundings I did not get, but I've also got funding in some other places and also where I am, so I think this will help. Now, if you're applying for Berkeley and you're looking forward to the MasterCard Foundation Scholarship, this is just a preliminary step. The MasterCard Foundation Scholarship has their own essays that you have to write. But for you to even be considered to be invited to apply, at least you have to get this right, because the admission committee will see, okay, based on this person fits what the MasterCard Foundation Scholars Program is looking for, and so they get to forward that to them and they can invite you to apply. That's why this is very important and critical. So let's start with the very first and important one, which is your statement of purpose. So let's talk about your statement of purpose. Please, I'm using my notes here because I don't want to forget anything. Your statement of purpose is that essay that tells the admission committee or whoever is reviewing why you have chosen that program and what your objectives during the program and after you get the degree are, right? It's very directly related or relevant to whatever application that you're doing when it comes to grad school. Is the number 1 most important essay. Why did you choose development engineering and why UC Berkeley? That is what your statement of purpose tells. It contributes very largely to what they look out for. Now, your statement of purpose usually should be about 1,000 words or about a page usually, and 1 space, single space. For mine, I did 1 space and tried to adjust the margins because I wanted it to fit into 1 page, which is fine. But your statement of purpose has to be clear, concise, and it has to be relevant. Also, when you're writing your statement of purpose, especially when the school demands for statement of purpose and personal statement, you need to make this distinction clear that this is a statement of purpose and maximize the space you have to focus on what a statement of purpose is. Later, I'm going to talk about how, when schools do not demand personal statement, how to merge them together. So everything you're writing your statement of purpose has to be directly relevant to you becoming a successful student at that school. Each paragraph, each sentence has to have a purpose. Why did you choose that school? Why that program? Why that concentration? And then what do you intend to do after? Now, when you're writing your statement of purpose, you can use examples of your training, your experiences, or how you discovered the problem you want to solve and how you knew this is the program that is going to solve it, to highlight on that. You could also talk about what your plans are after. So basically, the statement of purpose is generally in 3 parts, or let's say 4. The first part is where you're coming from and how you discovered you want to do this, or what you've done before. Then where you are right now. Now this is what you want to do, and this is how you think you are prepared, or you're prepared to do it, or you fit what they're requesting for. And then what do you plan to do after with the degree? Then the fourth part, which I said is like the maybe, but it's also important, is why it has to be here and why now. Do you understand? So you want to include what your eventual career goals are, and then why do you need that degree? And please, the last paragraph is why now and why this school. Why now and why this school? That's basically what your statement of purpose is. Your statement of purpose is not a repetition of your CV. It's not where you just go and dump down your experiences. Most times in writing a statement of purpose, you realize that it's only maybe 1 or 2 experiences that you've had in life that literally tie down to that program you want to do, that you can now niche down. Then when they go to your CV, they can now see your journey and all of that and be able to tie them together. It's just 1 page, so you have to make sure that it is clear, it's concise, and is relevant. Now also, in writing a statement of purpose, avoid listing a bunch of accomplishments like this. Try to niche down. Most times people will say use the STAR approach: the situation, the tasks you did, and then the accomplishment and the result, or activities and the result, or whatever. It's fine if you want to do that. I'm not a fan of the STAR approach, but I kind of use it some way to kind of address some problems. What is very important is that every statement and every paragraph you have needs to have a purpose. There's so many other videos out there that talk about, hey, these are the paragraphs you should have. That's fine. They can help you. In this video, I don't want to repeat what has been repeated by other people. I just want to tell you what is not there. Now, that's what a statement of purpose is. The next essay that you most likely are going to be writing is your personal history statement or your personal statement. Now, a personal history statement is a narrative where you're able to articulate your background, experiences, challenges, and adversity, and how they have shaped you and made you ready for what it is you're going in for. Your statement of purpose outlines and describes your academic objectives and why you're seeking this specific degree. But now, if you're asked for a personal history statement, I really love people that request for it, because it allows people, especially people that have had significant challenges, or you don't have up to the degree, like maybe they need 3.0, you don't have up to 3.0 GPA or something. It allows you to be able to defend or explain yourself why you had that significant challenge. Your personal history statement is not your statement of purpose. It is very distinct from a statement of purpose, and it's not the same. Don't use what you've used in your statement of purpose for your personal history statement. You should just explain the gaps that are in your that are in your statement of purpose and in your resume. For example, you took a gap to go and have children or raise children. You can't explain that in your resume. They will just see that, hey, between 2019 and 2021 there was no job, so what was she doing? You can now explain that in your personal history statement. Hey, she had a second class lower, we only take first class. Hey, this is the time for you to explain why you had those disadvantages. In your personal history statement, it's also usually 1 page, so I feel take advantage of it as much as possible, especially when you know you've made a mistake or you had those gaps and all of it. It's still the same about me. I always use 1 single space. I write as much as possible. I maximize the space that I want. Now, whenever you're writing any of these essays, it is very important that you do not assume that whoever is reviewing will make the connections for you in your applications. Don't assume that, hey, they'll see now, maybe at 2018, 2022, maybe that time I'm around 30, and they know as an African woman around 30 I should have been married, so maybe that's why I didn't. Don't assume that they will make those gaps for you. That's why you have the personal history statements. Now, your personal history statements can include what are the personal reasons that brought you to choose that program. maybe you witnessed something in your family, your neighborhood or community or school or something that made you aware of that, or you met a mentor or something. Also, what unique contributions do you have based on that, or do you want to contribute, or do you think that has shaped you to really define that this is what you really want? Then you want to talk about what barriers you have encountered in your journey to school, maybe in undergraduate and all of that, maybe financial barriers, maybe US health issues that made you had issues, or maybe you were the first in school. This is where you want to communicate that you're a first generation graduate student, maybe you're the first in your family to go to school, or all of those things. That's why you communicate it. Now also, if, like I said, if there are any impediments, it's in your personal history that you communicate it. I know some people don't like to go personal, or they don't like to share stories, but trust me, if your academic result is not up there, and especially if you're going to a school where it's not just all about academics, they want to see leadership skills and some other things, and how you've been able to build grit and resilience, then it's the personal history that will justify it. So the statement of purpose is one step. Then the personal history can now refine you. It's just like you're going through a filter. You go through, hey, then statement of purpose, okay, yeah, this program is right. Is that we find program fit alignment for we and this person. You now go for that. Okay, oh wow, okay, this person has shown resilience, this person can complete the program. So that's the second stage. The last part is your diversity statement. The diversity statement is, because they're very big on diversity right now and inclusion, they want to have a diverse cohort. They don't want to have too many people with the same thing. Now in graduate school, it's not just about what they're teaching you, but it's also mostly about how you're able to contribute to the cohort and how you're able to contribute to the class. So what has maybe your lived in experiences, or where you have schooled, or what you've learned, how is it going to contribute to that program and the other people they're going to bring into it? Let me give you an example. For example, I have a very unique lived in experience of working in Africa, and I have had results and all of that, and so I'm bringing a unique lens from solving particular problems from Africa into the cohort. So there are other people that are going to come looking at the history of the program. I've seen they always have people from diverse countries and all of that. Or maybe this program is very localized, and I'm bringing this unique perspective that I feel if we bring it in, it's going to be this, it's going to be that. You want to, your diversity statement is talking about that. But the way I write the diversity statement is first trying to share about how I have really promoted diversity and inclusion in the past. For example, have you worked in diverse teams? Do you have people you've worked with that are diverse? Have you done projects like that, intercultural, intercontinental or something? You want to put that there. Then you want to talk about how you're going to bring it forward, how it will be relevant to the program. Some people, when they write the diversity statement, they only focus on what they have done and who they are. But to be honest, it's not just about you, it's what's in it for us. So now that you have this and you know this, how is it going to be applied? How is it relevant to this program now that you're actually applying for? Do you understand? So that is what a diversity statement is. Now, for most schools, a diversity statement is optional. But if it's optional and you're coming from Africa, it's not optional for you. Please put it there. Why? As you're coming in, you're bringing a unique lens that they might not already have, and all of that, whatever it is that your story is, but bring it there. Always try to submit your diversity statement. It also enhances your chances for scholarship, right? Now, some schools also do not demand personal history statement. They only demand for statement of purpose. So if they demand for only statement of purpose and you have some comma or some clauses in your journey, maybe it could be your grade or anything, dedicate one paragraph in your statement of purpose to explain that gap. Dedicate one comma or paragraph to explain that gap. Please note that. But if you see that they have statement of purpose, they have personal history, then trust me, you're good. You can maximize and explain very well. Take your time to have your whole 5 paragraphs or your 1 page for this and your 1 page for that. Also, try to avoid, when you're writing this essays, some people just get cliche about it and you just go and bring one quote. Martin Luther King Jr. said. I think they're getting tired of hearing things like that. That's what I would think. I think you want to bring a unique touch. You want it to sync. You want to be coherent, and you want to tie each paragraph. Yes, I know you're going to be talking about different things in different paragraphs, but you want to tie it together. You want to bring in, you want to humanize it. I won't say don't use AI if you don't use AI, but whatever it is you're using, make sure that you try to humanize it, and it has to connect. It has to flow. They should not read it and at the end they're like, what did I just read? What did I just read? Because trust me, they don't have the time to go back again. They're like, except maybe everybody that submitted is rubbish and they now want to go and look for the rubbish upon the rubbish. You want them to be glued. You want them to stay. They want to be able to finish reading it in 3 to 5 minutes. They're done, and to really understand that, hey, at the end of this personal statement, this person is able to cover their experiences that are relevant to this program. They're able to tell us what they want to do after this program, and it's in sync with what we have. What they're looking for is what we have. They also want to tell us why they're also telling us why they need this degree and why this concentration, and it makes sense, and why this concentration and why this program. And they're also telling us why now and why Berkeley, we're good. And then they put it in. So at the end of the day, they now bring in all those ones they've selected and now narrow it down. Oh, now let's go to other criteria. Let's look at the personal interest statement. Let's look at their resume. Let's look at all of that. And those are things they begin to consider. So at the end of the day, maybe all of you, they give you admission, you want to stand out, because in terms of scholarships and funding, they now want to say what would stand you out. And finally, I'm going to say this. Don't discount your experience wherever you have been, even if you've worked in church or you've served. In any way or capacity you've served, you just need to know and learn and sit down and know how to communicate that value that you bring. Inherent in you is a value. Inherent in you is a value. You just need to know how to communicate it. You don't have to have done something so huge. And the thing is, what are you even classifying as huge? You're the one calling it not huge. By the time you come out, you see people that most times it's not that they did huge things, it's just that they were bold and daring, and they were able to they have sweet mouth, so they were able to communicate it well. So no matter how good you are or how fantastic you are, if you don't know how to communicate the value that you bring, then you're going to be in big trouble. I hope this helps. But if you still want me to review, you have to pay, and it's not cheap, and it's intentionally not cheap to discourage people from actually reaching out to me at this time. I am very busy. I wish you all the best in your applications. Bye.